Broadcasting from Park Avenue West, you're watching WMFD Television, Channel 68.1, Mansfield.
This program discusses sensitive mental health issues, including suicide. Viewer discretion is advised.
I hadn't talked about my story in a very, very long time, and I think it's because I spent so much time the first 2 years over talking about it.
Maybe an hour after we got the message that we lost Danny, Danny's sister said to us, we were all crying, and she says, "What do we do? What do we tell people?" And I'm like, "Baby, we got to tell them the truth. This is nothing that can be hidden, because otherwise the suicide will win."
We're not mental health professionals. It's just something that happened to our family. We direct people other places. And most important of all, I think, don't quit. Keep fighting. Keep living. Things will get better.
3, 2, 1.
Good evening and welcome to Sparking the Conversation. I'm Jeff Heck. This is my wife, Donna. We're from 33 Forever. We're so excited to be able to bring you weekly half-hour messages, stories, and resources surrounding mental health topics and challenges. Now, our show's purpose is to provide both information and inspiration, making conversations about mental health the norm.
Now, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Its mission, just like ours at 33 Forever, is to raise awareness of this disease and to save lives. The connection between breast cancer and mental health is one that can't be ignored, because breast cancer survivors may be more likely to experience anxiety and depression, sleep troubles, and other mental health issues that women who have not been diagnosed with this disease experience. Here to talk to us today is our own WMFD, Chelley Kemper, a breast cancer survivor, and we're so happy to welcome you to Sparking the Conversation.
Well, I'm thrilled. Thank you both for having me on the show. It's kind of strange being in the opposite chair.
It is. It's wonderful to have you there, and we're so grateful that you agreed to tell your story, because I know it's been a lot of years.
It has. And as I was telling you off air, the fact that I'm revisiting this after 20 years of survivorship, and I always cheer that on every time I go for a mammogram and my blood labs. I hadn't talked about my story in a very, very long time, and I think it's because I spent so much time the first 2 years over talking about it.
Yes.
Talking to others, speaking for get-togethers and women's groups. So but my story began when I was 32. And it was a Saturday night, and I'm not sure if maybe it was God talking to me. I don't know what propelled me to reach over, and I think I'd felt a pain. I'd felt a sharp pain, and I thought there's something there. It was, and I'd never done a breast exam on myself, a self-breast exam at 32. It wasn't something that I had been in the practice of doing, but I felt something, and I thought, it's probably nothing. So I didn't do anything about it.
Okay.
But the pain didn't go away. And then I, of course, went on to WebMD, which you should never do.
Bad idea.
Bad idea. You don't go on to
Even 20 years ago.
Oh my golly, you don't go on, and you don't start researching everything that you can get your hands on, when you really don't know that much about what's going on. So within the month, though, I did make an appointment with Women's Care, and went in and got my first mammogram. And when your doctor starts crying with you, we knew it was probably something that I needed to follow up on, and so I did. But not initially. I kind of took a back seat to my own health, because he said, well, it's very small, it's very tiny, and what I could remember was when I'd push on it, it would move.
Okay.
It wasn't something that was just there. So over the next month, I did not address making my next appointment with anyone. And he really wanted me to get into Riverside and Columbus. And instead, I kind of played around with the idea that maybe I'm going to be okay. Maybe it was just something. But he said, I can see something. Let's revisit this in a month. And so we did. And he said, at this point, I really feel that we're dealing with something here that you need to follow up on. Yeah. So he got me into a Larry Lilly in Columbus, and we started my journey from there.
Oh, my goodness. And at 32, you don't expect to have that diagnosis.
No.
Absolutely not.
And correct me if I'm wrong, a cyst or a tumor of any kind that's movable, isn't that something that they have said that it's probably not cancer?
I was told, oh, chances are it's benign.
Yes.
While I was in shock of thinking, could this be breast cancer, I kind of did something really dumb, but I feel that it was reactionary to me trying to protect everyone around me. I really started pushing everybody just kind of to the side and saying, I'll deal with this. This is my journey, I'll be fine. And I did. I drove myself to Riverside to meet with the doctor, which in hindsight was the dumbest thing I've ever done. Never not go with a support, take a support partner.
Somebody extra to listen, have those extra set of ears.
My husband even said, I'll go with you. My mom said, I'll go with you. And I said, no, I'm fine. We're all fine. Everybody just be cool. I was really not wanting to deal with it. I didn't do a very good job dealing with it. And when I left that day, he was 97% sure it was malignant. So that was a very long 1-hour drive home.
Oh, I'm sure it was.
So.
I think the thing that tells us is just like any illness, don't ignore things, don't ignore symptoms.
Right.
We tell the same thing about mental health issues. They show up and people too often ignore them.
Yeah.
But I think in a minute, when we come back after our first break here, we want to talk about the mental health aspects of your diagnosis, your journey, your battle, and 20 years later, how you've overcome some of those things. So we'll be right back with Chelley Kemper, talking about her journey with breast cancer here on WMFD, Sparking the Conversation.
Right now, get a sausage McMuffin and hash browns or a sausage biscuit and hash browns, only $2.50.
Catalyst Life Services, a comprehensive behavioral health organization, has been serving the community for 70 years. Our wide array of wraparound services and our ability to treat the whole person is what sets us apart. It's everything you need in one place: mental health, crisis, detox and addiction services, case management, and peer recovery support. We even offer vocational programming to get you back to work. Catalyst Life Services. Call today and get the help you need.
Everybody has a flashlight, but can your flashlight do this? The Bell & Howell Tactical Flashlight can. The Bell & Howell Tac Light can do things no ordinary flashlight can do. Look, this civilian flashlight puts out pathetic light, but our military-grade Tac Light, that's 22 times as bright. It's so bright, it can be seen up to 2 nautical miles away. Only a Tac Light has a super bright strobe that can stun and disorient would-be attackers. A car battery will stop working in sub-zero temperatures, but even getting frozen in a block of ice couldn't make our Tac Light stop working. It's tough enough to survive getting run over by a Humvee. Try that with a regular flashlight.
You can get a Bell & Howell Tac Light complete with a lifetime guarantee for just $19.99 plus free shipping. And while supplies last, you can even get a second one. Just pay a separate fee.
To order, call 1-800-371-0080. That's 1-800-371-0080 or go to trytaclight.com.
Meet Bob Minetti, loving husband, father, and pancreatic cancer survivor.
I'm so glad I learned what was possible for me.
To learn more about the latest research, including clinical trials, visit pancreaticcancercollective.org.
This program discusses sensitive mental health issues, including suicide. Viewer discretion is advised.
And welcome back to Sparking the Conversation. We're so grateful to be here tonight with Chelley Kemper, talking about her breast cancer survivorship.
Yeah.
You told us about the initial discovery and your reaction. When you got back home and it settled in, how did it feel with your, and settled in maybe is the total incorrect word, but
fine.
You realized that, okay, I've got to deal with this.
That's right. I had to, it's that fight or flight response. My doctor, Dr. DeWald, who is now retired, kind of laid it right out there for me. He's like, listen, very kind of dry mannerisms to me, to my ultra emotional. I would sit in his chair and I would discuss my options, and he would say to me, this is your chance. Although you're a type 2, I was stage 2, excuse me, not type 2. I was stage 2. I did not have it in my lymph nodes, but he said your tumor was very large. So he said, your options are this. I would like for you to try chemo. let's see how far you can go with it.
Okay.
You're gonna lose your hair. It's a reality, and I can give you this, I can give you suggestions, I can give you people to talk to, but you've got to want to fight. He's like, I can't make you fight, you have to go home and fight. So I went home, and it was a discussion that I had with everybody, and I was kind of mad at my family because my family was not giving me feedback. But what they were saying to me was, you have to choose this.
Yes.
You know, my mom would say, honey, you have to choose this, and Kent said, I don't know. I've not been through this either. This is so unfamiliar to all of us. And I was raising a 3-year-old at the time.
And that's, I was just going to say, you had a very young child at the time, and you also, you know, you talked a little bit about your family's reaction off air, but you know, I think a family has two different kinds of reaction. One is that they fall apart and they're crying in front of you, and the other is that they're trying to be stoic for you, even though they're scared as well.
Right.
So scary. So, you know, that cancer.
I got both. I got both.
I'm sure you probably did.
I did. I had a husband who had just lost his father 11 months prior in an accident, and it was a terrible death. Not ready to face what his wife was now going through, not necessarily wanting to come to my chemo, but did in support of me. So there was a range of emotions, and I had a very short window. I was given 1 month to get through surgery and start chemo. They weren't going to wait on this. This was something where, let's go. They wanted me for clinical trials. I wasn't quite up for that. You know, they scare you with a lot of different things, and so the emotions were pretty tough. You know, and when I did start chemotherapy, then the drugs begin to react. You know, it kills the bad, but it also kills the good inside of you as well. And it hit me mentally. I had struggled with depression from the age of 18, but it kind of been on the back burner until I went through cancer. And cancer was kind of a resurgence of every emotion that you can imagine.
An escalation, I would say.
Worried about, you know, and being told you are not to have any more children. You are absolutely not to have any more. Wanting to put me on tamoxifen when I couldn't even think ahead to my first chemo. So
so many dreams were just shut down in a
right
second.
away. But I will tell you, the one story that I share with everyone is how my daughter responded the day that I got my head shaved. It was amazing.
Well, we have pictures. Why don't you tell that story when, as we're showing some pictures?
Yeah, let's go through those and maybe you can explain kind of what people are seeing here.
All right, chemo number 1, of course. I made sure to bring a support partner with me, and that was my husband. And a former cancer patient who had lost her life, sadly. She lost her life months later, had told me, don't ever forget to bring your cup of water. She said, while you're taking chemo, which looks like rat poisoning, you really need to flush, hydrate. And so we did. But chemo number 1 was where it led to my hair loss. That it only took 1 chemotherapy, and it didn't take long. Trust me, I'm the queen of hairspray around this building. If anybody needs it, I've got it.
You didn't need it then.
I didn't need it then, but boy, I sure tried.
Look at how beautiful you are. Your daughter is. Truly, you sported that very well.
Well, thanks.
You know, when I saw that picture before we went on air, I said, you have a pretty head, Chelley.
Oh, thank you.
You really do. So.
It wasn't anything that I've ever shown anyone, so you guys are the first to see it. Wigs, it was very important that I have wigs. Now, I had some pretty bad ones. I finally landed on 1 wig thanks to enough of my friends and family and hairdressers that helped me out. But my daughter also, I felt, needed a wig to understand what Mommy was going through.
Absolutely.
And she was truly, she was one of my strongest support partners at the age of 3.5. Because the day that I had my head shaved, my mother took her from the home. My husband's cousin came in and buzzed my head and brought a bottle of wine. We cried together, we laughed together. She looked at me and said, this wig is hideous. We send it back, we start over, let's get you a new wig. She gave me a website. I had a wig within 3 days.
Let's see what that
This was one wig that I had to send back. But
well, you know, I'm not sure that...
That doesn't look like you.
He's got the Howard Stern look going on there and those beautiful blue eyes. I said, honey, you would have made an awesome rock star.
There you go.
But we made light of a hard situation by having pictures in wigs. You know?
Yes.
Really, really important to make sure that we laughed during the tears.
Yes, that is beautiful. And I see this as a beautiful billboard for early detection and for encouraging women for Cracker Breast Cancer Fund.
Yeah, Dave reached out to me and said, would you do a billboard? And I'm like, on it. Let's do it.
Wonderful.
So part of what you probably did, I'm guessing, is that you figured out how to battle your own problems, mental health problems that I'm sure you were struggling with during that period of time by sharing your story at that point.
It was cathartic, is that the right word?
Yes.
I shared it on the radio because that's where my one primary job was. I came in and I flashed my morning show partner, Tony Mitchell, my bald head. He was shocked and smacked me, and we got down to business. I'm like, I've got to be me around everybody. That was the only time anyone saw me without my wig on. That was Tony, and I had to, he's like my brother in radio, so yeah, we did that. But my daughter was amazing because the day I had my head shaved, I didn't know whether to have my wig on or off when she walked in the home, and she came in, and my mom was tiptoeing on eggshells, to get to me, and she was trying not to cry, and I sat down in front of my daughter, Indian style, in the living room, and I said, Mommy has something to show you, and I took my wig off, and she goes, Mommy, your head is beautiful. And I went, if she can handle this, you all can handle this.
Absolutely.
I expect all of the adults in my world to be able to handle it like my 3-year-old.
Out of the mouths of babes, right?
You got it.
Well, we're going to take another break, and we're going to come back with Chelley Kemper in just a minute to talk more about her journey and her survival from breast cancer here at the beginning of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We'll be right back. If you've been injured, whether personal injury, medical malpractice, or wrongful death, you are not alone.
And you definitely don't have to fight alone. While you focus on recovery, let the Heck Law offices focus on your case.
With over 45 years of combined legal experience, we understand your situation and the entire overwhelming legal process.
With an injury you're already handling too much, let our team be your advocate.
I'm Jeff Heck.
And I'm Jeff Stifler.
We're Mansfield's Injury Lawyers. Call us today or visit us at hecklawoffices.com.
I wish my grandfather knew
how deeply his loss would be felt.
But if love could have saved you, you would have lived forever.
I wish she had the chance to grow up and learn more about what life had to offer her.
I am so glad someone reminded me that I'm worth it and will always be worth it.
I'm glad that I have people now that support what I want to do in my dream of helping other people.
Introducing the Cool Turtle, the ultra-comfortable mask enhancer that creates a protective, cool, and breathable space between your mask and your face. Simply slide under any mask or gaiter and immediately feel the refreshing pocket of air surrounding your face. Cool Turtle's ergonomically designed, soft, comfortable shell immediately reduces mask friction, allowing you to breathe and talk in a comfortable environment.
I can actually breathe. With the Cool Turtle, no more sweating.
It's like I don't even have a mask on.
Call now and get not 1, not 2, but 3 Cool Turtles for just $10. Order now and we'll send you 2 more Cool Turtles free. No fees, absolutely free. Plus, you can get a 10-pack of 4-ply face masks. Just pay a separate fee. This offer is not available on Amazon. Get the real Cool Turtle now.
Call 1-800-374-3671. That's 1-800-374-3671. Or visit getcoolturtle.com. Order now.
Welcome back to Sparking the Conversation. We're talking with Chelley Kemper, a breast cancer survivor, and your mental health. How did it affect your mental health personally? Because I can give some statistics, but I'd like to know how it affected you.
Well, I would say as someone who had dealt with depression from my teenage years, and like as I said kind of earlier, it wasn't something that was in the forefront. It wasn't something I felt like I was having an issue with at all until I started into losing my hair, chemotherapy. Radiation was more of a burning, kind of a burning issue that you dealt with. And I would say just depression for the next mammogram, the next surgery, port surgery. It got scary because I thought, this is my life now. There is no cure for breast cancer. Still don't have a cure yet. 1 in 8 women are diagnosed. So someone in your little posse of friends out there is probably still getting a diagnosis today, and I cringe when I hear it because I feel for those people. But it was hard to face those things on top of the fact that there's medication that also induces you feeling lousy. I mean,
Absolutely,
each
yes.
chemo got harder, and any cancer survivor out there is going to know that experience. Each one, there's a little bit more, you know, they give you medications, they give you the steroids. Thank goodness there was another woman here that worked here previously, and I'll just use her first name, Jerry. She was in our sales department. She had been through breast cancer before me. She still had medication left that the doctor let me use.
Okay.
During mine, it saved me $2,500, which was wonderful because pharmaceuticals, we won't even go there.
Yes.
It's a very big expense. But you know, I tried to lean on people that wanted to help.
And you talked to a lot of people.
Therapeutically, I felt that sharing my story, which I'm glad, radio and television, you get that opportunity. It kind of presents itself to you that I was able to share my story. And it was a choice. The bosses said to me, you know, the Mices, do you want to share your story? Do you want to keep it private? It's really going to be your call, how you handle your journey through cancer. And I think cathartically, it was very healing. But it was still something where I still had to address with my doctor, and I did. I said, listen, I'm crying too much. I'm going to bed and I'm not sleeping.
Yes.
I'm not feeling well on top of it, but I'm also trying to raise a daughter, and there's so many what ifs. So I did go on medication. I went on Zoloft. I tried Paxil.
Okay.
I did take medications to get me through it, and I think that's really important. I finally said, I need help.
Absolutely.
This is going to be a long journey if I don't ask for help. And I'm just grateful that I had the right friends in the right places.
Well, you talked about, again, before we came on air tonight, but you talked a little bit about your friends and how you made a decision to let them in. And that ended up helping you tremendously between the medication and your family support and the medical support you had, but your friends made a huge difference too. Talk about that if you would.
They did. There was a guy that we used to work with here, Bob Miller, a friend of ours. You know who he is.
Very well.
I called him on the phone the night I got home from Columbus after my diagnosis. I hadn't had a breast aspiration, a cyst aspiration yet, but when you're talking to a breast cancer surgeon who's 97% sure what he sees on screen is malignant, then I started thinking, I need to talk. I need someone. So I think arming yourself with the people that are the strongest in your posse, that was my approach. I called Lydia Reed and I said, help, you've been through breast cancer. What can you do to help me? I just listen, just be there. And she was like, girl, you need resources. I'm there for you. You need someone to talk to.
You know, it's with mental health. It is knowledge is power.
That's
you can
exactly
fight through it if you know that you've got people helping you.
That's right. If you don't spiral too far in one direction, which would have been very easy to do. You know, steroids caused me to gain 15 pounds over 4 months, and that's a lot of weight in a short period of time. But I had to remember, this is short term. This is what I have to do right here. I can lose the weight later.
Yes.
You know, I just need to be alive for my daughter. When I was told, do not have any more children after this breast cancer diagnosis, they were afraid of the genetic transference. That was so depressing to me. I only had one daughter.
Huge loss.
Huge loss. And that took me 4 years to finally have a hysterectomy. 4 years that the doctor was going like, he was constantly in every one of my appointments, why haven't you had the hysterectomy yet? Finally, he looked at me and he said to me, live for the one that you have, not for the ones that you don't know. Not for your future. Live for the ones that you have right now, not for what may or may not happen in the future. And I woke up the next day and I called Galleon and I made my appointment.
That is
wonderful. It's amazing.
Great
I was
words.
just listening to those words.
Yes.
And those are great words to live by regardless of what your circumstances are. If you're struggling with something, live for
me.
It really did.
Yeah.
I've never forgotten it.
Mental health and physical health, which we know are one and the same thing. But
that's right.
A very important story and hugely relevant, not just this month, every single month with the stats that you cited. How many
1 in
women
8
face this?
Yeah.
It's huge.
And the hope that you bring to every breast cancer survivor out there, 20 years, incredible. Knowing that 20 years ago, they could cure you and you could be recovered. Yes, is incredible. So, so I think the hope that you brought everybody today is incredible, and we thank you so much for being on our show.
Thank you for letting me share. I haven't shared my story in a long time.
Thanks for being with us tonight.
Thanks for letting me be the 20 this year.
Yes.
Wonderful.
That's awesome. Thank you.
We'll be right back with more of our memory moment.
We are more than a counseling center.
More than just a medication or therapy session.
What do I like the most? It's gotta be the team.
Providing the highest standard of care, that's just what we do.
And equipping patients with coping skills to be successful. That's so important.
It's simple. We are just hopeful. We are hopeful for our patients.
We are hopeful that we can help them find their way to a better balanced and more resilient self.
We are Hope 419.
Visit us today at hope419.com.
Hi, I'm Joe Trollian, the Executive Director for the Richland County Mental Health and Recovery Services Board. Addiction to drugs and alcohol create a personal struggle as well as impact those around you. You are not alone. We have many professionals and organizations who care. Reach out for help today. Know it before you need it. Visit Know It, the letter B, the number 4, the letter U, needit.com.
Brought to you by the Richland County Mental Health and Recovery Services Board, growing and preserving a legacy of hope and success within our community.
Attention CPAP users with sleep apnea. You may have heard about the importance of cleaning your CPAP mask and supplies regularly, but we can't stress enough the importance of replacing your old CPAP supplies every 90 days to prevent infections and improve your overall health. With Medicare and private insurance, you may qualify to receive regular replacement supplies with free home delivery at little or no out-of-pocket cost. Improve your sleep and take control of your health with new Medicare-covered CPAP supplies every 3 months.
Welcome back to Sparking the Conversation. This is the part of our program that we call the Memory Moment. And we have actually a very special memory moment tonight.
We do. We are very grateful that Chelley was with us today. And Chelley, because of you showing all those pictures and you had to sport so many wigs, we thought in honor of you and in honor of your struggle, we would give you a 33 Forever hat.
I love it.
Yes, I don't know if you still wear baseball caps.
I do.
But I'm good.
Good.
I appreciate this
Yes.
so much. Thank you.
You know, it means a lot to us that you're willing to share that your story. It's very personal, you know, and it takes a lot to do that. And so we thought you could sport
awesome.
33 Forever as you're wandering around town. And anyway, we appreciate so much your being here and being with us tonight.
Thank you for letting me speak about my experience. It's been 20 years, but sometimes it feels like it was yesterday.
I'm sure. We're very grateful you're here to talk to us about it.
Thank you. I am too. Very grateful. Very
So that's our memory moment for tonight. We are so happy that you joined us tonight. We look forward to bringing you back next week with another great story and more great guests. Thank you.